Hi guys, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV and welcome to this preview for Monday night's game, 8 o'clock kickoff, Manchester City versus Burnley at the Etihad Stadium. What we've done is we've brought back some of the guys, and what we're going to do is we're going to review tomorrow's game. We're going to look at the lineups, what we all think tomorrow night's lineup might be. We're going to have our thoughts on the game, and we're also going to look at the score prediction for tomorrow. So we've got Alan in Melbourne. How are you, mate? You okay? Even spoke to you.
Yeah, I'm
6
okay.
hours ago.
Yeah, I'm okay. It's Monday morning here, so when I finish this, I'm on the way to work.
Very good. So you should be. Chris, how are you, mate?
All right. I'm good, mate. See more of you than do the missus.
I don't know whether that's a good thing or a very, very bad thing, mate.
That's his wife.
Tom, how are you, mate?
That's the best I've ever heard, Tom.
Can't hear you, Tom.
Good. That's a good
Hello,
thing.
You can't hear me?
Oh, we
You can't
can
hear me then?
Yeah, can
Oh,
I
right.
Oh, he's
Right.
back.
Well, everybody wanted me on mute on Friday anyway, so everybody's got the wish now, haven't they? So yeah, happy Sean Go today to everybody. I got my Sean Go to top on, and yeah, just to clarify, me and Martin still are friends, and we haven't had a massive fallout from the scenes on Friday.
Away.
All right then.
How are you, Martin? You all right?
Leroy,
I'm just sat in my newly decorated bedroom. I just need to move all the furniture back now. Well, I don't. Children do.
Very good.
What the hell?
That's what you have children for.
Two strapping young lads, they can get on it.
Absolutely.
Hey, just cost me a new wardrobe.
Yeah, well, there you go. So tonight, like I said, first question up, we're going to look at the lineup. And like Friday, what we're going to do is we're going to go through what we think the lineup is going to be for tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see whether the guys think there's going to be any potential changes for tomorrow. But we'll start off as usual. We'll go through each position. We're going to stick with a standard 4-3-3, even though we know, that's Pep's normal standard formation, but it can switch during the game. So, goalkeeper, can you see any changes other than Edison?
No way.
Okay, so
Scott Carson might get a cheeky 10.
Hey, well, as long as he doesn't come running out his box and injure him at Laporte, I'll be more than happy. So Edison's in goal. Right back. So we'll go to Alan first. Who's
Walker.
your right?
Walker.
You're going for Kyle Walker. Okay. Chris?
Yeah, I stick with Walker as well.
Okay. Martin?
Walker.
And Tom?
Kyle Walker.
Ooh!
Only because I think Cancelo's going to be playing on Thursday night because it's more of an attacking game rather than a defending game against Chelsea.
Okay. Well, that's all five of us going for Kyle Walker to keep his place, even though were rumours, some dodgy rumours coming out yesterday about Inter Milan and all that type of nonsense. I can't see that.
Absolute rubbish.
Can't see that happening. Okay, we'll go over to the opposite side, the left back. Will he change it? Will he keep Mendy, who played against Arsenal? So we'll go for Alan. Alan first.
Mendy.
Sticking with Mendy. Chris?
Well, I'm sticking with Mendy, Andy, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play, with his injury problems he's had in the past. A lot of games coming up. But he looked really good against, who did we play last? Arsenal. And it's a long time ago. Yeah, I think he should stick with Mendy. He looked good.
Okay. Martin, what are you going for?
I'm going for Mendy because I think this is his time to get the 9-10 game run that he's been crying out for.
Yeah, I mean, there is that. But then again, if we go back to your point that you made, and again on Friday, talking about injuries and things like that, and it's not like it's one game every week now. It's one game every 3-4 days. So Pep's going to have to manage that, because the last thing we need right now is another long-term injury to Benjamin Mendy. Otherwise, we'll be in the market.
I think we're going to say Zinchenko at left back.
it could well be. It could.
No, I meant the last. I thought you meant the last thing we need right now is Zinchenko at left back.
No. It's another long-term injury with Ben Mendy, because I think that would be his City career over, done and dusted.
Yeah.
So, Tom, what are your thoughts?
I think Zinchenko will be put into play against Burnley. Bearing I can't even speak. Because Benjamin's only just come back from his injury, and the fact that we've got so many games, if you had to choose next week either Burnley or Chelsea, I'd choose the Chelsea game, because we need him for the bigger games rather than the not so bigger games, if you get what I mean. And bearing in mind he's just coming back from the injury, and he's quite bad against the physical teams with picking up injuries. I think it's only best for him to play against the top side. So yeah, Zinchenko for me to come in.
It's interesting because we've got 3 going for Mendy. I was really tossing up between these two, and for the exactly same reasons you just said there, thinking, will he play him again? It'd be good to see him get 4 or 5 continuous games under his belt, but with games coming thick and fast, and the worry of the way people are picking up all these injuries, the last thing we need is him. So I'm on the fence with this one. I'd like to see Mendy get a good run of games, but I've got a sneaky feeling Zinchenko might play. So I'm sorry, I'm sitting on the fence. It could be Mendy or Zinchenko. I can't really stick with one of them. So moving into our centre backs then. So Alan, your 2 centre backs.
Laporte.
Yeah.
And my most hated player I can't stand will play, unfortunately.
Oh, you mean the classic Nicholas Otamendi?
The donkey, yes.
You're going for Otter to play with Laporte.
The reason for that, I feel he's garbage. And the reason I think they haven't got any pace up front, and everything's in the air with Burnley. So you need to be able to head it, and the only thing that Otamendi can do as a footballer is head the ball. The rest of it he can't.
He's good in the air.
Yeah, yes, that's it. That's the only reason I picked him. Obviously, you can't pick Garcia because he's down for 10 days because of head injuries. You're not allowed to play. And John Stones is probably sulking somewhere, crying about something else.
Harsh on John Stones. Well, thinking on that point, so far as it stands at the moment, we're on 60 points after 29 games.
Yeah.
Leicester have played 30. They're on 54. So they're six points behind us as it stands. And we've got a game in hand.
Yeah.
So could you see, before I come to Chris thinks and Martin and that, could you see anything in Pep's thinking where he might think, well, we should even be, regardless of who we play at centre back with Laporte, we should get through this game tomorrow, even if we drew. If
you look at when we played Burnley away, he always picks a big side, especially in defence, all the time.
Which was my point, was Taylor Harwood-Bellis, because he's a big lad.
Yeah, well, I just think he's a bit too young yet. I think he's a bit.
Okay.
He might be on the bench, but that's it.
Okay. All right. Just throwing it out there. Just thinking, because we're so far ahead of Leicester with this game in hand as well. Chris, who do you think he's going to play?
When we played them away, we had Otamendi and Fernandinho. Obviously, Laporte wasn't available, and I think we played well that night, didn't we? So I can see something similar. I mean, we're talking about Mendy. It could even be that Laporte gets shoved over onto the left of defence. He's done well there for us in the past if Zinchenko isn't up to it. But I think he will go with Laporte and Fernandinho.
Okay. Martin?
Exactly the same as Chris, Laporte and Fernandinho. I think Laporte will play nearly all these games, just to get him right back, because obviously he's not played a lot, as we all know. Yeah, but yeah, Fernandinho to partner Laporte.
Okay. Tom?
Right, Andy, it's funny that you mentioned Taylor earlier on, because that's who I've got in my back too, in the middle, Bellis and Laporte. If we're testing a defender, we don't test him against an attacking team. You want to test him against a physical team. and there's nobody better than Burnley to test against, to put him against the test. I think he deserves his chance. Garcia had his chance against Arsenal. The title's gone anyway, and I think it's a good time to get the youngsters in and put them against somebody decent. And yeah, 6'2", he's a big lad, and Laporte's a pretty physical player too. And I think that'd be the ideal partnership to test Taylor's capabilities, definitely.
Hang on.
Well,
What are you smiling about, Martin? What are you laughing about then?
I'm not saying it because I'll end up on every meme going. I'll end up on every meme in Anfield walking. I'm not 100%. It's as over as everyone's thinking.
Oh, for God's sake.
Hey, listen. Let's be positive. Come on.
Not over.
Did you watch them 2 hours ago? They were a shower.
Yeah, they were poor. They were poor.
They were very, very poor.
Martin, he's got a very serious injury.
Martin, I'll tell you what, Martin. I'll let you have a last look at the trophy. 1 second.
Hey, no.
So there you go. Have a last look at the trophy. Say goodbye. Trust me, it's not coming back this year.
Moving on swiftly. Why would you say that?
Anyway, moving on. I
don't actually think we will, but I said we might have a squeak.
Well, you didn't actually say that.
Well, that's what I meant.
I was thinking Otamendi, but then this afternoon I was tossing up thinking it would be a good game because he's a big lad for Howard Bellis to come in with Laporte.
Do you think he'll play? Do you think he'll play?
I originally picked Otamendi in my team because of his height and he played last time. But this afternoon, I'm now thinking, I wonder, you know what Pep's like. I just wonder if two big centre backs, and Howard Bellis is good in the air and he's good on the ground as well. He gave Garcia a chance in the first game, and maybe his plan was Garcia, Arsenal, Taylor, Howard Bellis, Burnley. Maybe Fernandinho back for Chelsea. Maybe he will stick with this constant bloody rotation with centre backs. Who knows? But I think he probably will err with Otamendi and Laporte. But if I had to stick my neck on the line, I'd probably go Laporte and Taylor Howard Bellis and give them a go against a team that's not notoriously attacking, but will thump big balls into the box and see how the kid does. But I guess we'll see. Okay, moving into holding midfielder. Alan.
Rodri.
You've gone Rodri. Chris?
Yeah, Rodri for me. I think he had his best game for City against Burnley last time, so I think he'll definitely play this time.
Okay, Martin. Yeah, he did. He scored.
Rodri, all day.
Okay, Tom?
Yeah, Rodri for me. I thought he had a great 30 minutes when he came on against Arsenal, and Burnley seems to be his team. Obviously, getting that quality goal earlier on in the season at Turf Moor.
Yeah. Okay, full house, and we've all gone for Rodri. Now, you're 2 ahead of Rodri, so I'm going to ask for the 2 ahead of Rodri then. I'm going to come to Alan.
KDB.
Okay. Has anybody not picked KDB? Okay.
So KDB, who's your one next?
All of us have gone for KDB then, right, to start. So the other player with KDB then, Alan?
KDB and Foden.
You've gone for Foden. Okay. Chris?
Yeah, I've gone Foden as well.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Martin?
Bernardo Silva, but come back to me on the Foden bit in a bit. Because I still think he'll play.
Okay. Bernardo Silva, but you still think Foden will play?
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Okay. So he's thinking maybe down the left, yeah? Tom?
Yeah, Foden for me, mate, yeah. Yeah, I think he'll get 90 minutes against Burnley because he was quality when he came on against Arsenal, and I think he needs to prove his worth against Burnley.
Okay, interesting. You know me, I'd love Foden to start. I haven't gone with him though. I've gone for Ilkay Gundogan.
Yeah, I can see that.
I've just got a funny feeling he'll play KDB and Gundogan ahead of Rodri with these. But I'd love to. Don't get me wrong. I would much prefer Foden to be thrown in with KDB ahead of Rodri. Really would. But
So we're going to be running in treacle.
I've just got a funny.
It never works, does it, when Rodri and Gundogan play? But I can see where Andy's coming from with that, because it's something that Pep would do.
No, I get it. I just don't want to see another Norwich World Cup.
I'm with you, but I think Gundogan had a good game against Arsenal.
Oh, yeah.
Very good.
I think we all agreed on Friday night, the Friday night social, that him playing further forward in an 8 or a 10 would be his preferred position. And I'm just thinking, against Burnley, after having a good game in that holding role, he might stick with him, because you know what he like. He loves Gundogan. He really rates him. So I'm hedging my bets on Gundogan, but I hope Foden comes in. I do. Right. So front three then we're going for, all three of them. So we're going to come to Alan first.
Bernardo Silva, Sterling.
Right, Bernardo on the right.
Bernardo on the right-hand side, Sterling on the left.
Yeah.
And Sergio.
Okay. We'll come back to some of the reasons why in a second. Chris?
I've gone Bernardo on the right, Sterling on the left, and I'm going to stick with Gabby.
So you're going Gabby. Okay. Martin?
Sergio's going to start absolutely all day long.
What's that?
You're not going to.
Sergio?
Yeah, you're not going to drop Sergio 2 games on the bounce.
Okay.
Foden on the right.
Foden on the right?
Mm-hmm.
On the right?
On the right. On the
Come
right.
on, who's on the left? Who's on the left?
Sterling on the left.
Bricked it.
I just think if you look,
That's a curve.
It's going to be very
Foden
similar to
right.
Well,
I
like
know
in
he
the cup final.
Yeah, I mean, I know he has. Well, that's where he played in the World Cup, and for England he plays quite a lot on that side. So, hey, you never ever know. So we've got
Villa a lot. If you notice, he pulled out on the right a lot against Villa in the cup final.
Yeah. You've got Foden, Aguero, and Sterling. Okay, Tom.
I've gone Mahrez, Aguero, and Gabby on the left. Gabby on the left wing.
So you've got Mahrez, Aguero.
Yeah.
And Gabby on the left.
Yeah.
You think he'll drop Sterling?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Give him a rest. Give him a rest, because there's no point using all the players. Just keep using them. And I think Gabby will do a quality job in left wing anyway.
That I agree with, because I think that could be his position.
Yeah.
I think
and Pep has actually intimated that today or yesterday.
Interesting.
We might not need to buy Sané replacement. We might already have one.
You are right. We can play two guys to score goals as well, because Gabby can score goals.
We scored 2 against him last time out. He scored 2 against Burnley last time, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He had a good game.
Yeah.
Well, I went for Bernardo. I went with Alan. I went for Bernardo on the right, Aguero and Sterling on the left. That's my 3 up there.
Sorry, I've got people revving engines outside my house.
I thought I could hear that.
If that's what you can hear, I do apologise.
Well, that's it. That's some interesting lineup there. I don't think we were that far off agreeing. I think we sort of had the defence-wise, sort of maybe it's back to the centre-back. Who is going to be the centre-back with Laporte? I think we all agreed Walker and Mendy. Rodri, we all agreed on. Everyone, obviously, with KDB. And then it was all about who does KDB play with? And then a little bit who's playing on the wing and who's playing up front. So I think overall, the majority went for Sergio and Sterling. And split down the middle, really. We've got Mahrez, Foden, and a couple of us went for Bernardo as well. So it's going to be interesting. But one thing's for certain, it certainly won't be the same lineup as Arsenal, as we know, because that's not Pep. That is definitely not Pep's style. So it could be anything.
Can I ask a question? Sorry, very, very quickly. Does anyone know who the ref is? Because I haven't actually seen it.
No, I don't.
I'll find out.
I haven't. If you can find out
Yes, City Extra will have it on, so I'll just go on to there.
Yeah, no, I've no idea. Does it matter?
Sorry to jump in.
No, it's all right. Absolutely fine. Right.
Just okay. I'm doing my notes for tomorrow night.
Right. So that's what we think the lineup is going to be tomorrow. I'm just going to quickly come back to you and ask on your thoughts about tomorrow night and how you think the game's going to go then. Alan?
I think it'll be quite tight. Burnley will make it awkward for us as far as making it a flowing game, as they always will do. You've got to win the battle first 10, 15 minutes against them. If you don't do that, you're in trouble. And I just think it'll be a quite scrappy game. I think we'll win 2-0, but I think
score prediction at the end.
All right. Well, I personally think it'll be a quite scrappy game and one of those games that doesn't flow.
Yeah, which to be fair, we're still even the game against Arsenal. It took a while to get going, didn't it? Before it really started. And even then, it was mainly the second half. It was just towards the end of the first we got a couple of chances and things. So they could make it difficult. They're currently sat in 11th place on 39 points. So they're only 7 points behind United. They've got a game in hand. This is game in hand again for on over United. So that could take them up to 42 if they were to win, and put them with the likes of Palace and Spurs as well. So up in the 8th position. So they've still got a lot to play for. I mean, they're clearly safe from relegation. So it depends on what Dyche wants to, because they've got quite a few issues. I think I don't know how it's been resolved yet, but with the likes of Hendricks and others, who's going to play, who's in their team tomorrow night. So Chris, what are your thoughts on tomorrow night's game?
Well, I think the ref is an important factor in tomorrow night's game. Being home, Burnley will play their usual physical style. No crowd there to sway the ref into, sort of 50-50 decisions. Now, if the ref's going to let the game flow, then that might go against us a little bit. But I would say one thing where we have a little bit of an advantage is that Burnley haven't played yet, so they are going to be a bit rustier than we are. So maybe if we can get off to a quick start, get a couple of goals in the first half, we might be all right. But yeah, I think I fancy us to come through it, Andy. I do, but it'd be a typical Burnley game, wouldn't it? They never make it easy. Although the away game this season, we did sort of stroll through that game, and Dyche sort of just tossed it off and said, it's one of the big six. We can't compete with them lot. So, but I doubt that's what he says in the dressing room.
Yeah, God. No, not at all. Martin?
It's interesting what Chris has just said, actually, about the top six, because Burnley have actually only lost one game since Christmas in the Premier League, and that was against Chelsea 3-0. Then they got beat by the Rags down the road. And so they do seem, I don't know whether it's give up and go home against the top boys, but they don't seem to. If you look at every time they got beat, it's been a good pasting by the top six. They don't seem to come out with them. So whether, like Chris just said, Sean Dyche goes into these top six games and sort of writes them off before they go in, I don't know. But, it's going to be.
His priority is to get results against
the
middle of the table and bottom table, isn't it?
Yeah.
He does that, he finishes mid-table.
Well, I didn't realise they'd only lost one game since Christmas. I didn't actually know that. So, they're on quite a decent run. But I'm going to be honest. I think the second half was our warm-up. I think we're going to come out absolutely blistering now. If you look, we always seem, the last couple of years, we seem to finish the season strongly. When we hit the last 8, 9, 10 games, and I think this is where we're going to go. And I said it to Claude on the preview last week when some of these players are playing for the future, so they're not going to have time to stick, put the engine into neutral and not really do a lot. So I'm going to be. I think it'll be tough. It's going to be very similar to Arsenal. The first 20 minutes, a lot of huff and puff from Burnley, and then I think we'll just take over and swamp them.
Okay, Tom?
Yeah, just to confirm, the referee is Andre Mariner for tomorrow night, and VAR is Kevin Friend, so that should be interesting. And for me, I think it's going to be a pretty even game. You have to look at earlier today, Newcastle came out and beat Sheffield United 3-0. Obviously, they've got something to play for now. These owners are so-called coming in, even though we don't have the announcement yet. And I think Burnley will want to prove that they're going to be fighting for a higher place next season. Obviously, they as fans think that maybe Europa League's not going to be reachable for them this season, but I definitely think they'll bring the game to City, especially in the first half, physically and attackingly, and then they'll drop off in the second half and try and shut up shop if they can get something in the first half. As long as we play our tactics well and we play the right team and we finish our chances, which is very important against teams that like to shut up shop in the second half, then I think that it should be a decent game to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be. I think it'll be a tough game. I think it generally, mainly, it always is. It's always close and tight and things like that. But watching us in that second half, I was really impressed because I didn't really expect them to be sort of really up and at it that much against Arsenal. I thought it would have been a really scrappy 90 minutes but it seemed to take us sort of 20, 30 minutes, and then suddenly we got into our stride and we were playing some decent football. I think another few days on the training pitch and other players, but it's interesting none of us have gone for Leroy Sané to start because he's an option.
Who?
Leroy Sané. I'm just going to read you Leroy. I'm just going to read you some news that's come through just now from on the Man City website, and it says Pep Guardiola says Man City may not need to sign a replacement for Leroy Sané should the winger go ahead with his plans to leave the club. Guardiola recently confirmed that Sané has rejected several contract offers and expects him to depart the end of this season or next. But the City boss believes the left-wing options he already has at his disposal mean that he would not necessarily need to find an alternative in the transfer market, suggesting Phil Foden could fill that role, not on the right side, whilst also hinting other areas of the squad may take priority. In quotes, this is Guardiola. Firstly, Leroy is our player, said Guardiola. I don't know if he will leave in the summer or at the end of his contract. We have enough good players up front. Gabriel can play on the left. Foden can play on the left. We have Raheem. Most of them are in good condition, like Phil, Riyad, Gabriel and Raheem. Players like that can play quite regularly for a long time. They are so stable in terms of injuries. I think we have other priorities, maybe. I don't know if after the coronavirus whether the financial situation for the club will change. We will see at the end of the season. Just seeing if there was anything else added to this. It says the 49-year-old acknowledged it is a unique situation, but says the club will comply with the decision made by the relevant bodies, talking about UEFA. He said it would be nice to play it. He added, we won it. Talking about the League Cup, sorry, I think it was. We won it 3 times in a row. We would want to defend it, but with COVID-19 and the Premier League starting later, I don't know. It depends on the calendar. It's the same with the Champions League and playing the second leg against Madrid at home. We would love to, but the situation is exceptional. When the Carabao directors decide what to do, we will do it. And that's just come through now on the Man City website. Quotes from Guardiola about tomorrow. Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be tight for large periods of the game, but I do think we will run out fairly comfortable winners, in my opinion. So that leads us on to the score prediction. And I'm going to come to Alan, and also I'd like you, Man City goal scorers, if you think we will score.
2-0, City.
You're going 2-0?
Yeah.
Scorers?
Sergio and Sterling.
Okay. Chris?
I'm going to go for 3-0. I'm going to go...
So this doesn't sound like a tight game. We've got 2-0, now we've got 3-0. Okay.
I think we can, it'll still be a tough game, I think we'll win. And I go for Sterling for a couple and KDB.
Okay. Martin?
Gotta say, I always love those tight 3-0 games, nail biting right till the end.
Oh dear me.
you know what's going to happen now while you're talking and go to Tom. Chris's mind's ticking over now, thinking
for a
I'm gonna
comeback.
get him back.
I'll get
He's gonna get him back.
Yeah.
Come on.
What you don't? He's got a list there already.
I'm gonna go 5-0.
What?
5-0.
5-0.
Leroy to come off the bench and get hat-trick.
Yeah. Go on, goal scorers.
Sergio 2, Foden 1,
Leroy.
Sterling. Don't think Leroy will get on the pitch. And Laporte header.
Okay. Well, I'm going for 3-1. And again, I'm going for Sterling and Sergio to bag a couple. I think I've just got a feeling they probably will get a goal somewhere along the lines from probably a defensive error or something daft. Maybe no. Ederson will come out. Ederson will come out trying to head it and not Laporte. So he'll end up with an Achilles injury and be out for 6 months and whatever else. No, I don't know. I'll go for 3-1, but I do think it'll be tight on occasions. But it's going to be interesting. So that's the lineup. That is our thoughts on the game for tomorrow night. And kick off 8 o'clock at the Etihad Stadium, Man City versus Burnley. And we give you our score predictions, which are Alan 2-0, Chris says 3-0, Martin says 5-0, I say 3-1. And Tom, what do you say?
I think it'll be a tight game in the first half. I reckon they'll score first, and it'll be 3-1 in the end. I think it'll be 3-1 in the end, and our goal scorers is Sergio to get one, Gabby to get one, and I think Rodri will get 1 and 2.
There you go. You've got 3-1 as well from Tom. So we'll see. But don't forget, give us your lineup below. Who do you think will start tomorrow, and who do you think will score? What are you laughing at?
It's Martin.
They're all waiting on my reaction.
Yeah.
What?
Nobody
They're
said
all waiting
Leroy,
for
so there's
me.
no need for you to get angry tonight.
Martin's like a little bit. He's like a little child, isn't he?
He is,
You can't.
isn't he?
He's ready.
You've got to keep control of him, haven't you? You've got to keep
I've
him
not
on.
done anything. I've sat here with my mouth closed.
One thing I want to bring up before we go is don't forget, go over and watch the Friday Night Socials, part 1 to 6 this week. They're absolutely brilliant. They are very, very interesting. Some brilliant golden questions as well. And on there, in the first 3 parts, we talk about UEFA. We talk about the Arsenal, review the Arsenal game. We talk about Leroy Sané. That's definitely one you need to go over and watch. Leroy Sané.
The Leroy Sané one is worth watching. Trust me.
It is definitely worth watching.
I think the best bit is trying to get Martin to understand FFP and how clubs' finances work.
And Joachim Lau.
Perfectly well.
There will be also, in addition to this, there will be another preview with one of Tom's friends. So we're going to be filming that after this. I'll be speaking to him and doing a preview with him about tomorrow's game. And he's asked me some questions. I've asked him some questions, and we'll see what he's got to say on how he thinks Burnley will play tomorrow night and what the score might be. But before we go, just very quickly, like I said, early hours this morning, couldn't sleep, and I was doing some work, and I was just looking at scores and predictions, results and things coming through. As we know, and I think we've discussed this to death on the Friday Night Social, about games being played behind closed doors. And I think everybody's had the discussion at some point over the last few weeks saying, well, what's the advantage like? You know, you've seen Liverpool go to Everton today, 0-0. Yeah, and I mean, that's a decent result for Everton, don't get me wrong, but no fans in the stadium, no home advantage, no whatever. So I just started having a look at the results that had come through. so far, and I went through the Premier League and the Championship results, and so far out of the both leagues, and I know it's not quite finished because there's tomorrow as well games, but 22 games have been played since the restart in the Premier League and the Championship. Out of those, how many home wins do you think there've been? How many would you expect?
Out of 33?
No, 22 games have been played so far. So far up to tonight. So 16. Far. There's going to be another one. How many?
16.
About 16. Chris?
Well, Andy, I'll just come on before. I'm going to say it's 8, right? But it's funny you should say that because last week they were talking about the Bundesliga and the home win record before the restart was 40-something percent, 44%, I think it might have been. And since coming back, it's in the 20s. I think it might even be as low as 23% home wins. So, yeah, it's proving that home advantage, isn't as much as it was. So I'm going to go, because of that, 8.
8. Alan?
10.
10. Tom?
Because of what I've seen in Germany, I'd say about 7 or 8, like Chris.
5.
Oh, no, hang on. Yeah, I thought you were saying how many would we expect?
Yeah. But I mean, just how many?
5 home wins.
Only 5 home wins out of 22 games. There's been 7 and 10 away wins. Now, if you look at the results, the home wins have been City 3-0 versus Arsenal, Brighton 2-1 against Arsenal. Newcastle. Otherwise, that would have been a draw. Newcastle 3-0 today. In the Championship, Blackburn 3-1 against Bristol, and Cardiff at home to Leeds 0, which again was a bit of a shock result.
Yeah, it is.
The draws we've had Villa and Sheffield United, Spurs United, Watford, Leicester. We've had Luton and Preston North End, Reading, Stoke, Sheffield Wednesday and Notts Forest, West Brom and Birmingham, and today Everton and Liverpool. The away wins have been Norwich 0, Southampton 3, West Ham 0, Wolves 2, Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 2, Villa 1, Chelsea 2, Fulham 0, Brentford 2, Middlesbrough 0, Swansea 3, Millwall 2, Derby 3, Huddersfield 0, Wigan 2, Hull 0, Charlton 1, and QPR 0, Barnsley 1. So
they're not even scoring. They're not even scoring at home.
Andy.
Yeah.
Andy, I wonder what the betting is for Leeds to bottle it again. I wonder what the betting is. The choke is the choke on again.
Well, I tell you what, Brentford going to Fulham 2-0.
Serious.
Brentford will be on a roll now, and if Leeds were to lose their next game, Brentford are right in the race. Really are.
The players we're thinking about last season, won't they?
And every other season. Yeah. And every other season. There's lots of Leeds fans I know that were so confident into lockdown. Oh, it's going to be easy. There's only a few more games, and they'll be absolutely they're bricking it now.
Well, the start of the restart, they were 7. It was West Brom and Leeds were 7 and 6 points behind ahead of Fulham. So, it was Brentford actually have done them a favour beating Fulham because that was a 3rd and 4th place game. So. The fact that one of them won, and after Leeds getting beat, has really sort of thrown the cat amongst the pigeons now.
Big time.
I've just got a funny story. Sorry, I was listening to a certain radio station, that do these phone-ins. I won't mention them. And this Liverpool fan come on afterwards, and he says, and they were asking him how he felt after the game, and Liverpool starting to get a bit nervous, and are they going to stumble over the line rather than, everything else. And he went, no, do you know what Liverpool are doing? Because of all this,
the Cockney guy. I just heard it
because of all these lockdowns and everything, and we're going down to 1 metre soon and everything else. He said, Liverpool are gonna get their 2 wins in the last 2 or 3 games of the season when fans are allowed back into the stadium, so they can celebrate it properly. And that's the only reason Liverpool are doing what they're doing, so they can set it up for when fans are allowed back in the stadium before the season finishes. Well, I'm sat there thinking, how deluded have they gone?
It'd be
How
bloody
deliberate
brilliant if that did happen and they lost the last game and we won it, wouldn't it?
Well,
Mission
it's funny.
failed.
How
It's
deluded
funny.
have they gone here?
Martin.
Is
it's
he
funny.
related to you?
It's funny, Martin. He was a cop. He wasn't.
He saved it up. He saved
He's
it
got it
up.
back. He's got it back.
Martin.
I don't know whether he's shaved his head or it's just falling out. Well, go on.
Martin. It's funny. He was a Cockney and he wasn't even from Liverpool.
Yeah.
Funny. I listened to. I woke up with Talksport on the radio, listening to us, and got changed. Couldn't
I mean,
believe it.
do you think fans will be back in the stadium? He says, well, apparently there's now talk of having 5,000 to 10,000 because France, France, Germany, Poland, whoever's, they're allowing fans back in now at a small percentage, aren't they? And now they're saying, you know,
It's not going to happen.
I did say the other day, I said if they'd have waited a few weeks, could we have got fans back in?
It won't happen in England.
He'd
There's
say
too many
that.
people dying. There's too many people dying and got it in England. No way.
Yeah.
Alan, we're going down to a meeting next week.
So we're down to a meeting as well.
True.
We won't let fans in until next year.
Well, I won't be
So
sure.
I don't think this season. I don't think there'll be fans. I think there might be the cup finals, maybe pushing it. I think. I don't. I'd be very surprised if they allow fans back in now. But anyway, I just thought I'd just finish on that because I thought it was quite interesting. Looking at it, going, my God, 22 games and only 5 home teams have won out of that 22. I mean, it's interesting. 10 away wins. So is the atmosphere, no home support, no, is that game playing a part in some of these results when it comes to teams trying to get in the Champions League and teams being relegated or being promoted out of the Championship? So it's clearly an unfair advantage to certain teams, without a shadow of a doubt. But anyway, that's the end of the Burnley preview. I want to say a massive thank you to Alan over in Melbourne. Thank you, mate.
No worries. See you later.
Chris?
Cheers, mate. See you soon.
You're welcome. Martin?
Not a problem. Just remind everyone, tomorrow, 7:45 again, watch along.
Yeah, don't forget, go over and join
bank
Martin.
cams.
Yes.
Send them in again.
Yeah, if you want to send in a quick 2-3 minute video about your thoughts on the game after it's finished, all you need to do is film it on your phone, put it into sort of landscape first, and then press record. Because if you press record, then turn it in, it just films it in portrait. So just send it into mcfcfantv@gmail.com. In the description is all the contact details. And give us your thoughts on the game. What were your thoughts on it? And who knows, you might be on Man City Fan TV tomorrow night after the game. Tom, thank you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. It'll be good to be with you guys again, as always.
Yeah, no problem. Well, listen, don't forget, if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that bell icon. Give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to make sure that your settings are set to public, not private. That way, when all the videos, and I'm sure you've seen the tons of videos. I mean, I think there's been 4 out today, 4 videos today. Then there's this one, so that's 5 gone out today. 3 gone out yesterday, and there's loads more coming out tomorrow. Then you'll be notified immediately, and you can watch them on your phone or your laptop, wherever you are in the world. But anyway, take care. Come on City tomorrow night. Let's just crack on and give us your comments below, and we'll see you soon.